right, let's work on Chapter 4, Section 8. We're now working with word problems, and we're using all different types of polynomials, and we are factoring to solve word problems using polynomial equations. Essential question, can you solve problems using polynomial equations? All right, my biggest hint is to draw a picture. I like a visual approach because I'm a visual learner. Most people like to see pictures. So let's go ahead and start with number 1. Number 1, they actually called this base times height, but it is length and width. But remember, area is base times height. Area is also length times width. So it says in number 1, the length of a rectangle is 1 meter less than twice the width. If I call this W, I can call this, well, twice the width minus 1. And then it tells me the area is 55 meters squared. So I know that 55 is equal to W times 2W minus 1. This is the equation we are going to work with. Remember that all quadratics, I'm just going to distribute here, 2W squared minus W. All quadratics need to equal 0. Is this equal to 0? No. So we're going to subtract the 55 over. And now we're going to go back to that factoring. We're going to take first times last. What are the factors of negative 110 that add up to be a negative 1? Well, I know that 11 and 10 multiply to give me 110, and they would add up to be a negative if the 11 was a negative. So I'm going to use substitution. Instead of putting in 1 negative, I'm going to use negative 11W plus 10W. Anytime I have 4 terms, cut it in half. Here I could take out a W, and I have 2W minus 11. And here I could take out a 5, and I have 2W minus 11. So it looks like 0 is equal to W plus 5 and 2W minus 11. Now remember, if you've missed the videos on how to factor, this goes back into 4-5, and you could go back to my YouTube and watch Chapter 4, Section 5 on factoring. 4-7 is where we solve, so remember we can take the opposite here. W is equal to negative 5. And here, if I set that equal to 0, and I add 11 over, 2W is equal to, W is equal to 11 over 2. Now, from what I know, and what you should know as well, is that W cannot equal a negative number because a distance cannot be negative. So W has to be 11 over 2. Now, if I plug 11 over 2 in here, notice I get 11 minus 1, which is 10. So this side is 11 over 2. This side is 11 over 2. The top and the bottom are 10 and 10. And the final question says, find the perimeter. So I'm just adding 11 over 2 plus 11 over 2 is 22 over 2, which is 11. 11 plus 10 is 21, plus another 10 is 31 meters. And I know it's meters because they told me the area was meters squared. All right, moving on. 2 numbers differ by 5. I see questions like this all the time. All right, 2 numbers differ by 5. So I know if they differ by 5, I can call one n and one n minus 5. Ooh, they have a product of 84. So I know when I take n and I multiply n minus 5, I have a product of 84. Is it equal to 0? No. So let's distribute first. N squared minus 5n equals 84. I have to make it equal to 0. And what are the factors of 84, negative 84, that add up to be a negative 5? Good. Negative 12 and positive 7 multiply to be negative 84 and add up to be positive or negative 5. So the answer here, when I set it equal to 0, is 12. And the answer here, when I set this equal to 0, is -7. Now these are two options for n. So if n is 12, 12 minus 5 is 7. So one set of these numbers could be 12 and 7. But if n is -7, -7 minus 5 is -12. So notice both of these multiply to give me a positive 84, and both of these differ by 5.